Carpe Diem VPN. Seize the data.
Hello everyone, and welcome to The Shortcut. Today I'm going to be throwing down the gauntlet on all of you out there interested in learning cloud networking with bonus points for those looking to learn Terraform as well. I mentioned in the shortcut about learning Terraform that after finishing the HashiCorp tutorials I went looking for something more challenging to build. I was given a link to this lab from Shahzad Ali, a VP at Aviatrix, who likes to use this challenge as a good way to test his candidates. He doesn't mention anything at all about Terraform in the lab. That was my own challenge to myself. Here's the challenge lab. I've segmented and distilled the details into bite-sized pieces and added some extra. I'll include a link to Shahzad's original post on the Aviatrix community below. First, from a cloud perspective, it requires 5 different VPCs in a single region. Now this lab was built using AWS terminology, but it should be doable with Azure and possibly GCP. Each VPC should use the IP address block shown and then segmented as needed to meet the requirements. Every VPC but the transit one should have the smallest possible instance, such as a T2 micro or nano, for testing basic connectivity like ping and SSH. Within the management VPC should be a bastion host, which is a small box that has internet connectivity so you can SSH to it from your computer. From the bastion host, you should be able to SSH into the prod, dev, and shared instances to check connectivity to the internet once the lab is complete. The transit VPC will need a third-party NVA, or Network Virtualized Appliance firewall. It could be a Palo Alto, Checkpoint, Cisco, whatever you like. Note that this part is not free tier, so there will be a small compute charge for it. I built and tore down this lab probably 15 times while testing, and my monthly charge for this was less than $2. Remember to pick the smallest size that will give you the network interfaces necessary, and choose Bring Your Own License to save money on the image. Now you're not going to be using this for any production traffic, just labbing. If you're going to use this for any business purpose, of course you have to purchase licensing per the vendor licensing agreement. Alright, on to the lab requirements. For this lab to be complete and solved, the private instances in the dev, prod, and shared subnets must use the firewall to reach the internet. You can't cheat by adding public IP addresses, a NAT gateway, or an internet gateway. The bastion host must be able to ping and SSH into the prod, dev, and shared instances. All the boxes should be able to ping each other, with the exception of the bastion host to the firewall. Remember that to make a firewall respond to ping usually involves some settings on the firewall. To make any of this work, all of the VPCs need to be able to communicate in some way. Don't use any third-party virtual appliances to connect the VPCs together. Use the native cloud options that are available to connect them. Depending on how you choose to accomplish this, there may also be a small charge. In my case, it was less than $2 US over 15 different tests. Now I've tagged the original lab as easy mode, but rest assured that it's not easy, especially for cloud beginners. It may take some trial and error and research to even get the cloud native stuff built before you even start on the firewall. Hard mode is to build this entire lab in Terraform instead of using the AWS console, which means learning enough Terraform to build the resources, update route tables, everything that's needed to make this work. Now I'm not requiring anyone prove that they passed the lab. You know if you did it or not. But if you want to get bragging rights, comment below with a link to some sort of album showing you pinging from your private instances to the internet and getting replies, along with screenshots of the traffic on the firewall if possible. If not, a trace route may suffice. I leave that up to you based on what you build. For hard mode, do the same thing as easy mode, but also link to the GitHub where you built the Terraform for your lab. That means you'll need to set up a GitHub repository and commit your Terraform code to it so we can see it. If anyone's brave enough to tackle hard mode, I am offering a bounty. Besides the bragging rights, I'll select 3 winners, if we get 3, and I'll pay for 1 attempt at the Terraform Associate Certification exam. I'm putting links down in the description that should have everything you need to do this whole lab, but I'm not going to point you at it directly. The challenge is to help you learn how to develop technical proficiency, and I'd be doing you a disservice by just handing you the answers. I will drop one hint though. The YouTube algorithm is pretty garbage for getting good technical content out there, and often people with really good channels don't get the exposure their content deserves. I say this because Shahzad, the creator of this challenge lab, actually has buried most of the details you need to pass it on his YouTube channel. Even if you aren't interested in the challenge, there's just not that many channels out there focused on multi-cloud design and architecture. Most of them are still focused on specific cloud providers, as are most of the training. Everything's really just focused still on specific clouds, and not many people are focusing on what multi-cloud looks like. So I highly recommend that anyone looking at learning cloud design take a look at this channel, which I'll put in the description below. Okay, that's it. Get out there, good luck, have fun, and show me what you can do.